Well, good morning, everybody. It is still morning. It's Monday morning. It's an important day constitutionally because this is the day that President-elect Trump, President-elect Trump, his electoral votes and her electoral votes get counted. And he won 312, and she got 224, I think. Yeah. So it was a good victory. I mean, the biggest victory was that he won all the swing states by relatively sizable margins, meaning over 0.25%. I mean, these elections are so close, but I think he got all the swing states by 1%, which is more votes than you can find, fighting the legal battle to delay the pronouncement of a state, going one way or the other as far as a candidate, and can they get a recount? Because if you lost the swing state, or you almost lost the swing state, the other guy says, well, I won the swing state. So if you can get a recount, maybe that person could not win the yeah. The recount always helps, the loser of that state, so to speak, before the recount. Because who knows, maybe the originally thought loser becomes a marginal winner. So recounts are always a scary thing for the candidate who thinks he already won that state. Yeah. So anyway, January 6th, that's a big day. Starting around noon today, an hour and 26 minutes, the joint session of Congress will meet to receive from the Speaker of the House the certified votes for each of the states, certified by, the Secretary of State of each state. So each state certifies that the votes are, X and Y, and that a certain person presumably wins that state, and that candidate gets all of the electoral votes for that particular state. Yeah. So California, Illinois, and New York, all the electoral votes go to Kamala Harris. And then you got almost every state in between, except for Minnesota. Yeah. I think and Colorado, I believe. I don't think Trump got Colorado. But he got Arizona. He got Nevada. Remember? No tax on tips. That helps, the states that have casinos And states that have hotels and casino hotels, all these people work for tips. So no tax on tips is a big deal. And also in those states, you have a lot of retirees. And no tax on Social Security. Ooh, that's a huge one. Hey, Trump, there's 65 million people that receive Social Security checks every month. And either the first Wednesday of the month, the second Wednesday of the month, the third Wednesday of the month, or the fourth Wednesday of the month. That's when Social Security checks. They're divided up into 4 piles, and Marilyn is the second Wednesday of the month, and Jimmy is the third Wednesday of the month. Oh boy. Last month, I got panicky about our financial situation, and I forgot about the Social Security third Wednesday of the month deposit into our account. Oh my God. Now that account I have established as the account for the payment of our lease payment to Tesla. The Tesla lease payment comes out of my Social Security check, which is the third Wednesday of the month. Yeah. And, the second Wednesday of the month is generally, well, it's possibly earlier than Marilyn's payday, her, mid-month payday. So both those accounts have to be transferred over to our TD account so we can pay some bills. Yep. So that's my problem, which I deal with every month, and other household chores. Hanging around here at near 80, we've had conversations in the family about what we're going to eat on my birthday dinner. Well, my suggestion is lobster. Now, if you got to have beef, fine, then have some fillets. Lobster and fillets. Put your order in early. And do we eat out or do we eat in? If we eat in, I want to eat at Cafe 812 up here on the 8th floor above Chops. Yeah. I mean, why pay, a restaurant $35 or $36 a pound for lobster? When you can buy it for $21 a pound, right? I'll whether it's Fresh Market or, one of the big stores, big public stores, the Fifth Avenue shops, Publix, that's a 55,000 square foot store. They surely, you can order the lobsters. So if you want 3-pound lobsters, which is what I'd order. Yeah, what the heck? How often do you eat lobster? And half of it is shells and internal parts of the body of a lobster, which you generally don't eat, if I recall. The claws you eat, and the knuckles that connect the claws to the body. You pick out the meat in there, and you remove the tail, and the rest of it, heave ho. Publix does a good job. They have good people in their meat department. And you can tell them, steam them and clean them. We want the tails, the claws, and you keep the rest. Yeah, steam them up. Yeah. And that way, when you carry them into Cafe 812, and you can order them for a particular time within 15 minutes. And, they'll keep them in a warming tray environment. You order them a week or two before, 10 days before, you go into the store and say, I want four 3-pound lobsters. Or 5 2.5-pound lobsters. Yeah. Or 6 2-pound lobsters. Yeah. And all we want is the claws and the tail. And the rest of the body, adios it. So, yep. You can leave the meat in the tail. Just break the tail away from the body. And crack the claws. Lobster by lobster. I'm watching headline news, and today, January 6th, is the 4th day that the governor of the state of New York commences with I believe it is a $9 toll for New York City, anyone that brings a car, anyone that drives into Manhattan. They got a toll gate, $9 toll. Yeah. And that's supposed to slow down traffic into Manhattan because the traffic is like crazy. So, and this is a good thing, actually for companies like Uber. Yeah. Because people ride in an Uber car. People, unless they, unless and in toll, they have proper and adequate police protection in the subways. Yeah, a lot of people are going to stay out of the subways. I think I'd rather take an Uber and than, and a lot of people live out in Long Island, and they go to work in Manhattan, or they live in northeastern Pennsylvania and drive into Manhattan, or live, in New Jersey and they come across, the George Washington Bridge and this bridge, that bridge, whatever. Or you can, drive up to the New York subway system and catch a subway into Manhattan. Drive your car into, I guess Eastern Jamaica. Jamaica, Queens, part of the 5 boroughs of Manhattan. Yeah. So that's what's going on with the major New York City news. And then, other than the weather, that's, a lot of snow. So this past weekend, the Golden Globes has honored a number of celebrities, including Zoe, and a lot of others. And you can look them up and see who won the Golden Globes. They'll be all over the media today with pictures and smiley faces next to the Golden Globe winners. Yeah. When you got the celebrities, they got roasted. Yeah. They're all real and powerful, except for recommending political candidates. They're not too effective in doing that. Yeah. And the whole place started cheering and applauding that statement from the host of the Golden Globes. Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Oh, you got to slide up. Face ID. Of course, who knows what Face ID is fighting a bunch of stuff I got here. I don't. All right. Unplug this guy. So George Soros, oh my God, and Hillary Clinton receives the highest award that's attributable to a civilian, meaning non-military, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, I guess. Yeah, the Democratic Party, Presidential Freedom. Democracy. Yeah, right. They yanked out, President Biden, and by fiat, just put Hillary in there. Sorry, Joe. Unless you step aside, you can kiss your legacy away, and you can kiss away your presidential library. There won't be one. We won't raise money for it. Those presidential libraries, in case you didn't know, they're financed by the political contributors for that particular candidate. So you want $150 million, presidential library. You better roll with the tide here. There you go. Take your toll and stick it, or shove it. Shove it, shovel, snow, whatever. Hochul's $9 congestion con job begins today. There you go. And congestion relief. A toll entrance. And there you see the toll sign directing you to a certain lane. You can get over there and pay your $9 if you want to get on the island of Manhattan with a four-wheeled vehicle. Yeah, I think it's any wheeled vehicle or a truck or whatever. Yeah. I don't think you can take an 18-wheeler, into Manhattan. I think a truck has to be, like a medium-sized UPS truck or FedEx truck. No big 44-foot 18-wheelers. All right, the city's hated new congestion toll could dangerously delay FDNY response times, meaning the difference between life and death for the New York Fire Department to get, to a certain area because of that $9 charge. Well, that needs a little more development. This is from the unions, reaping thousands of bravest that are warned on Sunday. Meanwhile, companies that make deliveries south of 60th Street are sending out notices that they will pass on this fee as a surcharge to those customers. Yep, that's what's in this little byline here. That's part of that signage. Tax to cause deadly delays, according to the FDNY unions. And Manhattan residents are going to face a hike on their groceries, to cover that portion of the $9 charge for those delivery vehicles to make deliveries to the stores in Manhattan. Maybe the fish in the restaurants ain't so fishy. It's so fresh. Well, up in the Northeast, there are about 60 million people are going to be affected, are being affected currently by the snowstorms, near blizzard conditions, in Indianapolis, Columbus, Lexington, London, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, Washington, Philadelphia, Richmond, Virginia, New York. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. Up to forecasted 12 or 13 inches of snow here in this Washington, D.C. area. See this area? That's all that pinky looking. That's the 12 to 18 inch code right there. Yeah. So that whole thing is moving west to east. Yeah. Today and tomorrow. There they are. They're being snowed on here. This is photographs actually of yesterday. This article was published Sunday, January 5th. For the latest on the winter storm for Monday, January 6th, follow the, Channel 9, Channel 6, Channel 3, CNN, Fox News channel. Yeah, they're all going to have weather conversation. More than 60 million Americans are under winter weather and storm advisories for Sunday and Monday, as a swath of the Midwest and East, already gripping by bitter cold temperatures, are now bracing for a historic storm. After more than 2 feet of snow already fell in some areas since Friday. Yeah, that'd be a lot of snow. I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. How about that? Alongside of Jennifer Lopez. She's a Jamaica, Queens young lady. Yep. There you are. There's a public utility guy with a snow plowy thingy plowing off the sidewalks. Over a dozen states are forecasted to be impacted by one or more aspects of this winter storm, according to AccuWeather. AccuWeather's meteorologist, Brandon Buckingham, said, he says snow could be exceeding 6 inches in some areas and is expected to bring travel to a standstill in places like Kansas City, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Manhattan. Don't forget the New York State. Now here, this is news. This is real news. The Canadian Prime Minister, Trudeau, is resigning, presumably today, as the party leader. He's resigning as party leader, as his party polls plummet. Yeah. According to CNN, the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is expected to resign as early as Monday, and he will step down as leader of the ruling Liberal Party. Meantime, we got a snowstorm that he are going to have to get after. There you go, severe storm risk. Yeah, I pulled this off a channel I don't remember. Looks like Newsweek's channel. As of 8:09 a.m., according to the EXIF data on the image here that I saved. Yeah, severe storm. And you can see how it impacts Florida. I happen to live, you see where it says West Palm Beach down here? I live right underneath the letter A in West Palm Beach. Yeah. Under the letter A, right there on Middle Eastern or Southern, maybe I'm under the letter L would be better. Yeah. As far as where I am on this map. I should have put a DIT on the map. But you can see there's always this polygon between Daytona Beach and Fort Pierce on the East Coast and Sarasota to Naples on the West Coast. And that goes up and down at that kind of an angle. And the part that's not shaded in green or light green is what we call the subtropics. We live in the subtropics. Yep, as opposed to the tropics. And that's right here what we call, what the Floridians would call, the freeze line. Goes from Fort Pierce down to Naples, diagonally across the state, covering, part of Lake Okeechobee area. Yeah. Now, underneath the E in West Palm Beach, is like Pahokee. Down there in the southern part of the lake, the Okeechobee, Lake Okeechobee, under the letters W and E. All those communities right there produce, marvelous, like strawberries. stuff like that, because it's in an area where it doesn't freeze. It rarely freezes, in the subtropics. So severe storm risks. You can see the green area where you get severe storms, but you're not going to get likely snowy blizzard conditions. There we go. So here you can see the cities that were issued warnings: Tallahassee, Gainesville, Jacksonville, Daytona, Orlando, Tampa, Melbourne, Sarasota, and Fort Myers. Residents in these areas are advised to keep outdoor travel to a minimum and wear appropriate clothing if you're going outside. There you go. Some people need that warning. Here's an interesting factoid that Apple spent on average $1 billion a year for 10 years developing the Apple Car and the Apple Car software that never came out. They've abandoned the Apple Car notion in 2024, around March. I think the first quarter of 2024, Apple washed their hands. No more billions are going into that. They're just stopped dealing with it. All right, the moon may seem like it's really, really cold, but this lifeless rock actually, on the surface, has temperatures similar to the temperatures, as on Earth, except it gets a little hotter and it gets a little colder. The temperature doesn't go over, 212 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface of Earth. And it doesn't go as high as, low-wise, or at or before moonrise, the temperature on the moon could be minus 148 degrees. That's pretty chilly. Yeah. Or, with that faulty publication. So, there'll be some investigations going on, all over the place. With regard to the temperatures of the moon. And here they did a little graphic of a lunar spacewalker sitting on a chaise lounge chair with his feet up on a cooler on the moon looking over to the Earth. Very nice. Anyway, John Monnier, a professor of astronomy at the University of Michigan, told the Live Sciences people that the moon's temperature can range from about minus 148 degrees to plus 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's, pretty drastic range. because we certainly, at minus 148, that is PDC. Pretty damn cold. Okay, we've had enough of that. So the Apple car is a goner. Done it. And, forget the chaise lounge on the surface of the moon, not to mention that it's in the vacuum of space and there's no oxygen or there's no gases, period. So your suit needs to be pressurized to handle and pumped with fresh oxygen mixture of helium or nitrogen. And when it's packed, it means that it's likely not a natural combination of oxygen and nitrogen, because nitrogen is in our very atmosphere that we're breathing right now, assuming you don't have spacesuits on, sitting in your library at this early hour at 11:07 a.m. You can see our clock right there. 11:07, 11:08. Yeah. Okay. For all those Netscapers, I'm included, Netscape just got an underrated action adventure movie that's already claimed #1 position in Netscape, and it's based on a true story. When it says based on, that means, the producers and the writers within Netscape's, back room might make it a little more exciting than the actual true story in order for it to be cinematographically successful. And the thriller is named Carry On. So headed for the #1 spot. I think Carry On is below #1 because after January 6th, the current #1 title is about to be overtaken by Carry On, an unexpected contender. The underrated action adventure movie, In the Heart of the Sea. That's the name of the movie on Netscape. In the Heart of the Sea. See it right there? In the Heart of the Sea. Do a little reverse pinch there. There we go. No. So there's two things to watch. In the Heart of the Sea and Carry On. They're expected to be #1 and #2. One of them is already #1 in Netscape. And Carry On is about to become #1, maybe, according to the author of this article, Alex Blackburn, who wrote this article about 4 hours ago. And you can go read the full article if you want. Okay, moving on to January 6th. Doing a little reverse pinch. President Trump is campaigning on behalf of the Trump-Vance ticket. President-elect Donald Trump is set to break another record. The most cash ever received by a presidential inauguration committee, which handles the inauguration and the festivities, and the added security, so they extend this extra 150. So you have special places, along the parade route for dignitaries and celebrities, high government officials, so you can sit in the warmed booth, the large warmed viewing bleachers covered to protect it from the freezing cold, assuming there's a freezing cold that day. Taken at face value, that's a lot of money. And in terms of, how that compares to Biden, Biden in 2021 raised a total of $61.8 million. That's almost $62 million. With its largest donations coming from, $1 million donation entities like Pfizer and Qualcomm. Trump's first committee, the 58th Presidential Inauguration Committee, took home $106.8 million from donors, including many that also donated to Biden's, event, which is not a non-event. All right. Here's an interesting story about interesting factoids, things to learn about this magical device called an AirTag, designed in California by Apple. And it's designed with the Bluetooth LE Ultra Bluetooth signal. Ultra meaning very, very marginal amount of electricity is consumed, by this AirTag device, which I happen to have. Where is that? There it is. Right here, an easy grab. So here's my supplemental wallet, which I might carry with me. And you see that white little bump there? That's an AirTag, because on the opposite side of this, that's the silver side. If I snap this thing and open this up, look what's inside. But an upside down. There you go. An Apple AirTag. I'm showing it to you with some reflections so you can see the Apple logo. Yeah, that's an AirTag. So I just put it here with the white surface up. So if my wallet is found, they won't see this Apple AirTag insignia. Wait till the bad guys, what kind of wallet or protection device I have. Now the AirTag does not emit a signal strong enough to reach my iPhone. Now I register it with my iPhone. Who did I lose? I lost. Continue without X. Yeah. Oh, this is a simulcast between 3 social networks: YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. And I just received notice that Twitter just left us. I don't know whether it's temporarily or permanently for today, but they're gone. They may retrieve later this balance of the signal, because it is recorded on 3 social networks, not just one. Anyway, getting back to the AirTag, it's designed by Apple in California, but it is assembled in China, and you can see that assembled in China thing. International travelers must have noted on all electrical devices that emit signals such as this, made in China or assembled in China, either one, depending on which one is appropriate. It's assembled in China, but under a contract with Apple and said company. Yeah, and it emits a signal. It does emit a signal, but it's not strong enough to reach my iPhone directly, because this AirTag, I could, what would happen if I dropped it in my suitcase and I checked my bags, airline, check your bags, and this thing just slides in the side pocket, or slip it in underneath, the silk of the, if you want to be a little more stealth about it. But it emits this Bluetooth LE Ultra signal, to other iPhone customers that happen to be in the vicinity of the bag. Okay? And this, corrects itself every, 10 or 15 seconds. It updates where the bag is. Yeah. So it got lost. The airline bags got lost for today. Yeah. So the AirTag emits a Bluetooth signal, a Bluetooth LE signal, and other iPhone users can sense this signal, although the signal is attached with an encrypted serial number, which then goes through the Apple system and finds the device that can uncrypt the signal from this device that's now in, Indonesia. So your bags got diverted to, Podunk, and they're supposed to be with you because you now landed in the heartland of France. How come this Bluetooth guy is in a piece of checked luggage, that went to Topeka, Kansas, instead of Palm Beach County, Florida. Yep. So these things work off, any other Florida devices that are capable of hearing this Bluetooth signal, which means yeah. So that's a little story about the things to know about how an AirTag works. It basically emits a signal and it transmits its location, its basic location, to servers all over the world. That the signal is getting piggyback. Piggyback, you ever hear of that? Where a little kid jumps on your back and you carry him around in circles. Piggyback. Yeah. Well, this signal also gets piggybacked on the back end of signals that are floating around in the Tesla system of devices that are transmitting a signal or receiving a signal, from Apple Watch signal. I never knew that. Until a couple years ago when I read a similar story to this. This came out 4 hours ago. But they had articles about this AirTag when it did come out. And it came out a couple years ago. Anyway, I read it in technical journals, not necessarily the journals that I have. Clipped. You see, this is a method of attachment. There's an AirTag hanging on a keychain. I've done similar things I have backup keys because I don't carry around a keychain like that. My keys I have on a little loop and it fits on this hook, hangs around my neck when I leave the apartment. I just attach it to the this carbonaire kind of a thing that hangs around my neck on a leather band. Yeah. That way I never lose my keys because they're hanging around my neck. I don't like keys, the weight of keys hanging around in my pocket. I don't like heavyweight keys around my neck either. So if you get on my key ring, he must be a pretty important key. Yeah. Everything you need to know about AirTags. There you go. I already talked to you about everything you need to know about an AirTag. It emits a Bluetooth ultra signal that is shared with all Apple devices. So, you know, iPhones all over the world are carrying around and retransmitting these signals up to servers that are then discoverable by unit purchasers. Like if I bought airtime on an AirTag and I used Find Friends to find my AirTag. Now, when you buy the AirTag, there's a piece of like clear cellophane with a tab that pops out here, and you pull it, and that allows the lithium battery, this CR 2032 battery, to complete the circuit and basically activating the Bluetooth signal, and does a lot of other things also. But as far as tracking, which is what we're interested in, this is a Bluetooth signal that is issued out of the AirTag, and that encrypted signal is then read, as opposed to reading a lot, and read by a useless setting order of paths. Okay. Golden Globes. I told you that Zoe was a big winner. Getting her first of all the kind of movies that she's been involved in, including one of my absolute favorites, which is called Lioness. It's the last word of this entire article. She's a lioness, all right. Every Sunday, a new issue of this space story.
It's 11:30.
Everyone was wondering aboard some of these aircraft when there's a prisoner that's put on an airplane, a jet airplane, because he's being transported with a protection guard, so he's handcuffed and so forth. And he's okay. How do we pronounce this golf ball? Siroxen? XON. Siroxen. You know, it was AON. It would pick up more of the character Siroxan. Right. Looking on delayed TV, the fury over Soros and Clinton receiving the Medal of Honor, the Medal of Freedom. Yeah, of all things. Yeah. Oh. He's handing out medals. He's doing whatever he can to look like he's busy. Here you can see the president gonna be and the president wanna be. Yep. Joe Biden is departing, and Donald Trump is arriving in a couple of weeks. So pack up your stuff and get out of the White House. It was, I'm coming. Santa Claus is coming to town. Yep. And everyone is at least told the Republicans are going to be happy, happy, happy. And the Democrats are going to be wailing in the streets. Hopefully unarmed. Let's face it, the U.S. presidential transition is a constitutional travesty. The months-long transition is undemocratic, unseemly, and quite dangerous. Oh, I didn't know about the dangerous part. They didn't tell me about that part. Yeah. There they are. Whew. All the politics and all the money, the billions of dollars that are spent in advertising and TV time and so forth, events, rallies, you know, and hundreds of millions of dollars that the networks spend covering these two guys, you know, if they were running. And then Kamala came in, and then she's running. She raised another $1 billion, $1.5 billion, and spent that. You know, it's crazy. Anyway, Trump wins. Kamala didn't win. And you got... So Trump was in our lives, you know, 8 years ago. And now, and in 2 weeks, on the 20th of January, he's going to be sworn in. He'll be covered on all the news channels, all the TV channels, every TV channel. You know, And and the USA networks have broadcast areas. If you can't hear it on your own device, why would you? Pushing down. The cold front is pushing down for half of Lake Okeechobee. We're in the north part of that storm. It's, but it's, there we go. The 5 cheapest cryptos that could make you a fortune in 2025. All these cryptocurrencies. One of these FX guys you can pick up for 4 cents a unit. 4 cents a coin, I guess. Law of supply and demand. These companies don't have, tangible assets. They just issue these coins. They're issuable, and then people buy them, and you get 1, 2, 10, whatever you bought, as an electronic serial number attached to each coin. And more people are buying it than selling it, then the price goes up. And it could go, Bitcoin is right now $95,000 a piece. I remember a few years ago it was $200 a piece or $100 a piece, and now it's $95,000. Whoa! How would you like to have 10,000 of that? It'd be worth lots of millions. Yeah, jeez. Hindsight's always 20/20. I told all my friends to stay away from it. Don't listen to me. Yep. So you got all these cyber jockeys, trying to make out with these coins. Let's do a little print screen of that one. Yeah. Joint session of Congress is getting ready to certify Trump's election victory. However, for Democrats, there is a January 6th legacy hanging over that day from when, in 2021, when Trump supposedly delayed the delivery of the certified election results to the joint session of Congress because Trump suspected some foul play. It never really got heard in any courts. It was presented to a bunch of courts, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, South Carolina. He suspected some election fraud. And he had some anecdotal testimony that was interesting, but the courts never heard any of the actual evidence because they said he didn't have standing. Well, where the hell are you going to get standing if none of these courts will listen to you? Is it only the Supreme Court listens to you? And that's how you only get standing in the Supreme Court? Or are you going to get to the Supreme Court and they'll say, oh, sorry, you don't have standing. How do you get standing? With election results. Anyway, joint session of Congress is being gavelled in right now. I mean, if I go to, let's see. I go to RSBN. Yeah, RSBN. Let's see. Let's go to the homepage. I guess we're on the homepage of that. Is there anything going on live right now?
Are more powerful than her.
Nope.
Which is a massive, vicious, crooked,
Trump
radical left machine.
Remarks in Nevada.
Today's Democrat Party.
This
That's
is
what we're running against. We're not running against
her. This is live.
She's
Las
got
Vegas.
Nothing to say. I know every player.
12:32 p.m.
But this is who we're really fighting. These are the people who are doing such tremendous harm to our country. With their open borders, record-setting inflation, Green New Scam deals, and everything else they're doing to our country. But we are not going to let it happen any longer. We are going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th.
Yeah, this is a couple of weeks ago.
And we are going to, very simply,
make America great again.
We're going to make it great again.
Sit live down
Kamala
here.
Harris does not have the compassion,
yeah, this is the
intelligence,
previously aired
or the
up
strength.
in that corner. There you go.
The presidency needs, I know what it needs.
The turning
you
point.
Meet some people. Among the worst that you're going to meet, though, are in our country. I call it the
turning
enemy
point
from
happens
within.
to be the publisher.
She can't do the
of
job. She can't put
U.S.
two
Constitution,
sentences together.
which I carry in my pocket.
She's an international
This is
joke.
my little desk copy.
Every country is joking about how stupid our leadership is, from Biden
fits
to
nice
Kamala.
in the pocket.
They're a
Carry it
joke
around
all
wherever you
over
go.
the world. She's going to end up
If there's
getting
ever a
us into
question,
World War III,
the
just
Constitution,
like he would if he stayed any longer.
aside from
And on top of it all, she says she
belief,
would not do one
even
thing
though it was
differently.
written,
Joe
260
Biden, which in
years
itself
ago,
is totally disqualifying.
and
Take a look at
manages
this.
all our national
something differently
politics,
than President Biden during the past 4 years.
including this January 6th date, is right in the Constitution.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from
Election
Afghanistan
results
stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S.
directly
soldiers.
to a joint
Have done
session of
something
Congress
differently. There is
on this day.
More than
And I mentioned
13,000 illegal
right
immigrants
up here
convicted
on
of
this
murder
screen
have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
the live broadcast from the nation's capital regarding, the presentation of the electoral votes, the certified election results to a joint session. Now remember, with the Electoral College, which determines elections in our country, we are a federal republic of states. So
have
each
done something
state
differently. There is not a thing that
conducts an election for the president and other politicians locally to that state.
Increasing by 9.1% over the financial
On November 5th of this year,
which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations.
when those election results then get telecast, and the Associated Press announces the victor, because they log into each
And then
state
last night I watched
and
and
see
I
the
just,
election
I just cut out
results.
any part of it. You could cut
And if
anything
it's
you
over,
want. Just put it in. When you see
you
this,
know,
go ahead, please.
half a point,
Is there something you
of
can
a
point to
victory.
in your life, political life, or in your life?
They'll
last 4
declare
years
the winner,
that you think is a
you know.
mistake that you have learned from?
if 99% of the vote is counted,
I mean, I've made
and
many
it's over a
mistakes.
half a percent, or whatever criteria they
They
use,
range from,
then they declare
if you've ever parented a
you know,
child, you know you make lots
that
of
candidate
mistakes.
the winner.
In my role as
Well, president
vice president,
in the state of Florida.
probably worked very hard
So
at
each state
making sure that,
has their
I
own
am
election
well versed on issues
as a
and,
federal republic
I
of
think
states
that's
like
very
Georgia.
important not to be well
So they have an
versed
election.
to feel compelled to answer a question.
The president and other local candidates to
So
Georgia.
Nevada, if you want to end this disaster that we're
For
going
their-
through, it's not even believable. These foreign leaders
For the president.
are very, very street-wise, very smart people. And
then that
they're
state's
looking at what's going
electoral
on in our
votes.
country.
Then
And
100% of
they
them
really don't
and that
want
is
me,
the
but
number
in
of
a certain
electors
way they do want me, because
is
the whole
equivalent to the
world,
number
like
of
Viktor
congressmen
Orban said, put Trump
that
back
are
in
in a
it'll all
state.
stop. We had no wars, we had nothing.
And
They couldn't play games
I think
with
the
us.
state
They
of Florida
couldn't
has
play
29
games.
congressmen.
So you must get out and vote. And you also have to fire your
Each
radical left
congressional-
senator, Jackie Rosen, who voted repeatedly for
Each,
rampant inflation and open
each
borders.
congressman
And you have to elect a man who, by
represents
the way,
about
has given up more to
760,000
run for the
Americans.
United States Senate than
So
any
if you
man
want to know
in
how
the history
many
of the United States
congressmen
Senate.
you have in your
Sam
state,
Brown. Sam, where are
you
you?
divide 760,000 into the population of your state. And in round numbers, that'll be the number of
And you're
congressmen
doing
you
very
have
well,
in
Sam.
your state.
That man is a hero,
And it
he
also
has given up
determines the
so
number
much,
of electors
and he
left.
deserves it. And she's another
The number of
laughing stock
congressmen,
back. She just votes 100% with whoever
It's the same
she's
number of
supposed to
electors.
vote with. She's no good. She's
So
no
in
good for
Florida,
you. She's no good for this area.
The Secretary of
world.
State of Florida
Bad senator,
is
not
compelled
respected.
to
We
tell
have somebody
Congress
that's a very
today,
respected senator, Senator
and
Marco
certified
Rubio.
by the
here?
legislature.
Where's Senator Marco Rubio?
my state of Florida,
He's around here.
and
somewhere.
all 29
'Cause we
electoral
love
votes
him. There
are
he is.
cast
Marco,
for
thank
Trump.
you, Marco.
because
Good
he
man.
won the state of Florida
We have
with a
Vivek
sizable margin of victory.
Ramaswamy.
So he gets, all electoral votes, which
By the way, this guy has a hell of
The
a
state of Florida
mouthpiece.
happens to
Do you
be
want to hear him for
29.
about 2 minutes? Can you keep it down to 2 minutes?
we have about
Come on,
20
let's
million
go. Get
people
up
in
here,
the state of
Vivek.
Florida.
What a
as determined
mouthpiece on
by
him, oh boy. He's
The
like a machine
2020
gun. Come on up here, Vivek. All right, no, he's a
count.
great guy, great future.
as to the number of
I want you to give it up for the
People
greatest
in your
president of the 21st century
state.
standing right here,
and then
Donald J. Trump.
every 10 years
We had a secure border, a growing economy.
they knock on doors
People were living prosperous
determine,
lives with crime going down in this country. We were on the brink
how
of war
many
with North
people are in
Korea.
your
What
state,
happened? We had no
or in
major
your county,
conflicts around the world with
or
this
in the
man was our
nation,
commander-in-chief. But I'll
as
tell you
they add
this,
up.
as great as those 4 years were,
They do
best
accounting
we've had
every
in
10
my
years.
lifetime of any president who's led us, as great as 2016 to 2020 was, I promise you this, that
And if
second
we have,
Trump term is going to be even
you
greater.
know, 340 million
And by the time Donald
people
Trump is
in
leaving
the
the White
United
House,
States.
those signs you're holding aren't going to say "Make America Great Again." We're just going to say
and
"Make
we have
America
435
Great." MAGA
congressmen,
becomes MAG by the time he's done, and
and you
let's send it back
divide
to the White House. That's how we're going to save our
435
country.
into
President Trump, thank you for everything you've
340
done.
million.
Thank you.
and you get about 760,000 per
Thank you, Vivek.
House of Representative member.
2.5
So
years
in the
ago, I
case
saw
of
him
Florida,
on a show. I think it was
by
Deface the
700
Nation.
boys,
Ladies and gentlemen, you're on
50,000.
Deface the Nation, Deface. And he was talking, and I said, who the hell is that
Into
guy?
your state population,
And he did
20
damn
million,
well.
you get
He did damn well. He
29
ran,
electors.
Incredible, and he's
Electoral.
got a big
In the
future
electoral
in this
college.
party, and we
It's
appreciate
really
it.
that simple. When the numbers, when
So
your
I
state has
alluded a little bit
a
to
low
her
number,
before, but a true
you know,
racing
of,
legend, somebody that
population.
I've had a lot of respect for.
you know, one of the flyover
She is
states.
really something special.
one of
She
the
is a
smaller
very
states.
talented person, and now she's
in
doing
population.
incredibly since
There's certain
leaving
minimums.
racing. She probably still
You
will
know,
always be a little bit in racing, but she's an incredible success
You have to
story.
have at least
Danica
one.
Patrick. Thank you, Danica. Please. Thank you very much.
Even if you only have 100,000 people in your state, you get
Thank you,
one.
Danica.
You get one electoral
Sean
vote.
Merriman, the great football player. I
You get
look
two
at this guy.
senators,
Where is
one
he?
congressman.
Where is that guy?
Yeah,
I said, I don't want to get into a
Anyway,
fight with
January
him.
6th,
Thank you
they
very
count
much,
up
Sean. He
all
looks
the
like he could
electoral
play right now.
college victors.
Cash
victories.
Patel, where's Cash?
The case of Trump, it's been reported
Thank you, Cash.
that he received
Nevada GOP
Seven-
Chair
excuse me,
Michael
312
McDonald.
electoral.
Thank you, Michael. How are we doing, Michael? Good? Yeah, we're hearing good things. National Committee
Harris
woman,
got,
Segal Chadha.
you know, like
Thank you,
224,
Segal.
something like that.
Beautiful family, by the way. Beautiful family. Thank you.
226.
And a special guy. He's incredible.
Forget
Turning
about that.
Points, Charlie
It's-
Kirk, and all of those people that came with
That's
him.
all
Is
of them.
special. He is a special
All right.
talent, and he's
Let's
out there.
close up this because we're waiting for Congress to go live with the Electoral College count. They're assembling in Congress right now, getting their seats or finishing up lunch and then getting their seats. You know, that kind of stuff. That's what's going on right now in Congress. Remember, it's cold and blizzardy outside, so there may not be a full house, so to speak. You know, because it's now, you know, the Speaker of the House announced to all the congressmen, stay in town. Don't go home because it's going to be blizzard conditions and you may not be able to get back here for January 6th. So stay in town. It wasn't demanded of them. It was strongly suggested. And of course there are coming blizzard conditions today. A lot of flights are canceled. Some airports are closed. You know, all that kind of stuff. Which could make it so the congressman wouldn't be able to get back in time for this historic January 6th counting and presentation of the Electoral College vote count for each state in our Republic of States. Yeah, we are a federal Republic of States. That's what we are. We're not one huge democracy. We are a federal republic of states. Now we keep count of the counts, the population vote count of the entire nation. We add them all up from the states, you know. And Trump won that also. He won by slightly under 3 million votes. So he got like 76 million votes, which was more votes than she got, by about 2.8 million, something like that. We actually get presented to Congress the exact numbers today. Yeah. It's a constitutional requirement. So let's see. I'm just paging through here, as you can see. 35 insanely delicious air fryer recipes that you would love. Well, we can touch that one. And touch the reader page. There you go, look at that. It looks like a meatball wrapped with bacon. They even have a little piece of cheese in the middle, which, that ruins it for me. I don't like mixing meat with dairy. The Jewish people really don't like it. Yeah. All right. Discover the other side of Hong Kong. I don't know what the other side means. I guess you read the article and find out. I haven't read this article yet. Discover the other side of Hong Kong. Well, that's Hong Kong. And we can touch that and save it to photos. Now it's in this article, and if I do a print screen of this article, then, yeah, Hong Kong is one of the great global metropolises. It's a metropolitan area. It's one of the great global metropolitan areas. Metropolises. Blazing neon and shadowy alleys. The rich aroma of street food and the glorious cacophony of traffic and chatter. Yeah. My recommendation is stay in the densely populated areas. Don't go in the dark, shadowy alleys. No. You could get mugged. You stay where the police are. And Hong Kong has got great police. So stay in those areas. Please. Doing a print screen of this little screen capture. You can see how I capture all these articles. I just do it just like this. There we go. And then I say, done. Save the photos. There we go. This article is now permanently saved in my catalog of 76,000 photographs that are on my iPhone and in my online account, in the cloud, right? Harbor lights at night are beautiful. The culinary scene is extraordinary. Luxury hotels, tax-free shopping areas are attractive to a confirmed Ubanites. Urbanites. Remember Uber? Uber runs in urbans. Confirmed urbanites. And the thrill of discovering new retail spaces and dining rooms crammed with nose to tail into the seemingly endless high-rises. It's intoxicating. Please don't go in the shadowy alleys of these big cities. Yeah, no. I wouldn't do that here in the United States, and I would highly recommend you don't do it, as a passport-carrying American citizen in Hong Kong. Stay where the lights are bright and the police are plentiful, and even then, make sure you stay with your group if you have a group of 3, 4, or 5, or 10, or 20, or whatever the group is. Don't wander off by yourself, or two of you wandering off by yourselves into the shadowy streets of Hong Kong. No, don't do it. It may be the last memory of you to your family. Yeah, you could be gone forever as you get devoured by the criminal elements that are in those shadowy areas. Yep. Baked Asian salmon. Baked in foil. Now that's a good idea. See this article right here? Let me do a print screen. I'll tell you how you do a print screen of an article like this. You just go like that. You drag the corner and drag this up here. And that looks good. Drag that down a little bit. There you go. Baked Asian salmon. Save the photos. Now we can touch the article. Do reader view. There's the original picture of the baked Asian salmon. We'll save that to photos. There you go. This quick and easy recipe for baked Asian salmon in foil is tender, flaky, and loaded with bold Asian flavors. It has a perfect balance of savory, sweet, and spicy, all wrapped into one delicious little package. There it is. And then when you're done, you open it up, and voila, you've got baked Asian salmon. And you cook it in your air fryer. Yeah, on a lower shelf in your air fryer, so that all those flavors are baked inside that foil. And then after, say 10 minutes, I throw an ounce of water in that foil package just to make sure there's plenty of moisture that boils off in that little foil package. Yeah, it makes for a very savory, flaky salmon dish. How do I prevent the salmon from sticking to the foil? Let's touch on that one. Whoops, disappeared. I guess we'll have to find that out some other day. All right, we're going to slide all this all the way over, and then we're going to hit that little arrow and then swipe this way. And here we get the headline news and a little photo montage. Speaker of the House faces the narrowest house. I don't know if it's in the history of the United States. It's hard to get closer than that, right? It's within one vote, one House member. Remember, several of the House members had to resign because they were appointed positions in his cabinet, and one of them had to resign because of ethics charges. So the Republicans lost 3, which would have meant they would have a 4 vote margin, you know. But now it's down to 1 vote margin, which you might as well say everybody's got to follow along, you know, because you know, the House count is so close. Young boy happiness over receiving his first bike will melt your heart. Yes, it will. Flight attendants hate it when you do this. All right, what's this? You know, they invite you into reading their stupid articles, which means it's probably a stupid article. When they try to invite you over with these ridiculous, you know, invitations. Yeah. It's the closest majority in 100 years. Yep. Much of the U.S. braces for a big blast of winter. Yeah. 19 websites to learn the high-income skills for free. Yep, she's going to tell you all about it. Tablet gaming. Not interested. So, Sophia Verga heckles Jodie Foster. She's what a weird haircut she's got. During the Best Female Actor speech. She's quite an actress herself. Having, you remember, she was in Contact. You contact people in outer space. She used to listen in, you know, she played a role as a female scientist, listening in on these big dishes to possible signals being received from outer space. Yeah. Yep. Well, apparently, Sophia Verga was heckling Jodie Foster during her doing her Best Female Actor speech. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can see that story. All right. Sometimes these headline stories are not the easiest to find in here. Most memorable Golden Globe. No, that's not it. That's a story about the Golden Globe, something, but that's not. That's not the one with Jodie Foster. I'm paging through here quickly to look for the Jodie Foster, Sophia Verga article. I'm paging through quickly. There it is. Darn it.
The greatest thing about being this age and being in this time is having a community of all these people, especially you, Sophia.
Let's try it again.
The greatest thing about being this age and being in this time is having a community of all these people, especially you, Sophia.
Jodie Foster, 62, got on stage to accept. Jodie Foster, in case you didn't know, graduated from Yale University. I don't know if that was a prestigious lefty school 40 years ago. Could have been.
The greatest thing about being this age and being in this time is having a community of all these people, especially you, Sophia.
So you heard that one live and in color. Jodie Foster. She's one of my favorites. She's played in a number of movies, more than I can imagine anyway. If you list all her movies, that's Jodie. Let's do JODIEFOSTER. Movies. AIES. Enter. True Detectives, The Silence of the Lambs, Taxi Driver, Inside Man, Contact. There it is. Let's just, there you go. There's a list. True Detective, Silence of the Lambs, Taxi Driver, NYAD, whatever that is. NYAD. Inside Man, Contact, Elysium, True Detective Season 4, Panic Room. I remember that. People were beating her house apart, and she and her kids retreated to the Panic Room, which means you can lock yourself in that room, and you have food and water and air, oxygen, to survive, even the toughest of people that are beating your house apart to get to you. Yeah, Panic Room. I watched it. I wonder if I touch it, what happens? View all. Look at that. There are more. The Mauritanian Flight Plan. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. The Accused, Bugsy Malone, and Maverick. She starred in all these different things. Yeah. That's quite a list. Jodie Foster. Yeah. Otherwise, she's down here in Palm Beach County or Broward County on the beach with her children, who were friends. Yeah, I think she's got a couple of kids. Yeah, look at this thing. Best apps for tracking everything. Yes, sir. Canadian Prime Minister resigns as leader of his party. Amid Trump's tariff threats. I guess that's what's stirring up the beehive in Canada. When he visited Mar-a-Lago, and Trump had these conversations with Trudeau at dinner regarding possible tariffs. And hey, how about Canada become the 51st state and you can be governor? I'm sure that made all the Canadians gloriously happy. I cannot be the best opinion in election. Yeah, that's what he says. I don't follow nor understand the Canadian election system. But I think I'm going to step down off this broadcast this January 6th at noonish on Monday. Yeah. January 6th, the Constitutional Day, where the Speaker of the House, and we have one, of the 119th Congress, yeah. Remember Congress. Every congressman gets elected to the Congress, to the House of Representatives, every 2 years. And every senator gets elected to the Senate for 6-year terms. However, about 1/3, approximately 33%, of the 100 senators get elected every 2 years. So you have the third of the Senate going back for re-election every 2 years. So that every 6 years, the entire Senate would have been spoken for with regard to the population of the states. Each state gets 2 senators, and presumably you got a junior senator and you have a senior senator. Yeah. A senior senator would be a senator that's in the Senate, and a junior senator would be a senator that just got elected, assuming it's his first term being a senator for that state. Then it would deem appropriate that the other senator is already in the Senate and has either 2 years left in his term or 4 years left in his term. And then the senator that just got elected is just beginning his first days of his 6-year term. Every senator gets a 6-year term, but not all senators are up for election every 2 years. Only a third of the Senate is up for election every 2 years. And then the other third is elected in the next 2-year cycle. And then the balance is done in the third, cycle of Congress. There you go. So That's how senators are elected. Alrighty then. I hope you have a great day. It's 2:21 p.m. I'm pointing at the clock. There it is. 2:21. That is the exact Eastern time here in Boca Raton, Florida, in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Yeah. And hopefully, I don't know, Mr. President doesn't seem to like this daylight savings thing. But there are a lot of people that do. There are 16 states whose governors have submitted, we want daylight savings time 100% of the time. And the question is, will it get through the Senate? And if it does, will President Trump sign off on that? You know, Florida's Senator Rubio signed such a law. So the state has to issue, it has to go through the state legislature, and then the order is signed by the governor, and then it gets submitted to Congress for approval. Yeah. Now, I don't know whether it requires Senate approval, and I don't know if the president has to sign off on it, because I don't know if it's an actual law. I know that the order by the governor of each or any state sends it to Congress for their approval. And if the House and Senate approve it, or if the Senate approves it, it's done. It has to go for congressional approval, and I believe that's the Senate that does congressional approvals. But the Senate Majority Leader, is what they call him, has to submit it to the Senate for their approval. Anyway, so I know Rubio was championing that effort, and the governor of the state of Florida signed off on it, like 6 years ago. Or trying to think how many years ago. Maybe it fell on the 117th Congress 4 years ago. And the Senate Majority Leader was, who. And he wouldn't submit it to the Senate, and you didn't have the count in the Senate. You were one short for it to get confirmed, So Schumer never submitted it for senatorial confirmation because Rubio was a Republican who submitted all this, and the governor was a Republican that signed off on it for the state of Florida, and Schumer never did anything about it. That figures. All right. Anyway, that's That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And there you go. It's 12:26 p.m. It's time for lunch. I haven't. Well, I have 3 oatmeal raisin cookies for breakfast, if you will. You want to call it breakfast? Yeah. Marilyn brought me home yesterday for breakfast or brunch. She went shopping with Brennan yesterday, and then when she was done with that, Brennan then went to work, and then Marilyn went by Einstein's and got me a sausage egg bagel. Yeah, brought that home for me, and I ate every square inch of that. Woo! That was so good. Yeah, the bagel was marvelous. It was a nice, hot and toasty, and it's kind of like soft. It has like a shell, because the bagel dough, if you will, is kneaded. You mush it up, knead it, and then it's put into a circle by some means of creating a perfect round circle, which is then dropped in boiling water. I think boiling salty water, which is an ancient Jewish recipe for making a bagel. Unleavened bread, if you will. Yeah. Anyway, so I had a bagel yesterday with their version of a scrambled egg, which means they mix it up a little. They shake it up in a shaker, pour it into a mold, and basically steam it into a perfectly round patty of cooked egg with a broken yolk. That goes on the bagel. It had a sausage patty, which was, good, in every way. I liked it. It was good. Yeah, I cut it up into pieces. Yeah, instead of biting it off, I had a sharp knife and cut it into bite-sized pieces. I actually cut the whole bagel in half and ate half of it while I had the other half wrapped and covered in a towel to keep it toasty warm while I ate the first half. And then I went to eat the second half. Yeah, I ate the whole darn thing up. And when I was all done, I'm looking around. So you got it. I finished this thing. Did the dog eat half of it? We don't have a dog. Anyway. All right, so I keep talking on here. Now it's 12:30. I've been on the air for an hour and 2 hours. In 30 seconds, it'll be 2 hours exactly. So let's say goodbye. I'll turn up the epidemic to full sound. I'll turn off my microphone, and I'll see you tomorrow.